what's wrong with this game? Well, first thing that's wrong with this game is the loading times. As you're about to witness, and the thing that I spared you from when loading up the actual game, the loading times in this game are just absurd. It essentially renders fast travel completely pointless, because by the time the game's loaded you might as well have just run there anyway. Quickly moving on. Arno. He's an alright character, but he is essentially an Ezio rehash. What Ubisoft have done is they've gone, Ezio was successful enough for 3 games, let's make a French version of him, who is maybe, I was going to say a little bit more morally reprehensible, but no, they're about the same. They start off the same, in that they're both scoundrels, as it were. Yeah, fuck it.
Make ready.
Who like learn the benefit of not being such a moron the majority of the time, but don't really develop from that point on, which is a shame, really. But I mean, the character does develop, but it's just the same as Assassin's Creed 2, really, except maybe he probably doesn't develop as far. Third point, there's barely any outer story integration, because I mean, with the first 5 games, we had Desmond, which, you know, wasn't awful. It may have dragged on a little bit, but it was interesting, it was worth having. In Black Flag, I haven't played Rogue yet, so I don't know. In Black Flag we have the walking around Abstergo kind of thing, which was interesting. It linked in with the story. In this, you have I think 2 videos of a woman talking to you, and that's it. Essentially, she says, you're playing a game now, but you're playing it for a company called Abstergo. We're gonna hijack you, and you're gonna work for us. So basically, instead of playing the game for Ubisoft, you're playing it for Abstergo, and that's it. And then just play the game. So yeah, this is a kind of facetious point, but there are no ships. That was the good thing about Black Flag. That's why Black Flag was my favourite game, is because it completely remade the environment and brought in ships which were brilliant. And I think Rogue has them, but still, like I said, it's a bit of an obsequious point. Stuff almost happens, but never actually does. And you can only really get to that point by playing the game.
This mob is after a dead man.
Oh no, wait, it is good.
If the mob needs Marabou's relics, the secrecy of the Brotherhood is at risk. Beat them to it.
What was I saying? Yeah, stuff almost happens, but never actually does. Every single sequence leads up to something that in first couple of games would have taken a couple of sequences. But now it's more just like, we need to find this guy. And then you find the guy, and then you kill him, and that's pretty much it. It doesn't feel like anything's actually happened. And the sequences, considering there's 13 of them, feel really short. I've been spotted and I'm going to get shot in the back. Fucking eagle-eye snipers in this game. If you could climb, that'd be great. That's a bonus point. The climbing, considering it's supposed to have been fixed, is still surprisingly buggy. And that sometimes Arno will just decide, you know what, I don't fancy climbing that thing, or I don't feel like dropping off that thing. I'm just going to sit here, get shot 12 times, and you'll desynchronize.
Okay,
and
careful now.
That becomes apocalyptically annoying. Arsehole, come here. Where was I? Fuck it, I'm just going to move on to the next point. For a game called Assassin's Creed, I feel like stabbing him, go for it, seriously. For a game called Assassin's Creed, there are barely any bloody assassins in this game, and when they are in it, they're a bit fucking retarded. Let's see, why you join the assassins? You essentially, spoiler alert, accidentally cause the death of your own dad by going for a run with Elise, who is the love interest. Who, I like Elise, Elise is good. I've no idea what I'm doing now, I'm just running around in a circle. I should probably drop down and kill some shit. And then, like, some years later, you end up in the Bastille. Thank you. And you meet a guy who says, I knew your dad. Your dad was an assassin. Join the assassins. And you go, okay. And then you get out of the Bastille, you find these other guys who say they're assassins, and they say, we like you, you're an assassin now. And you go, okay. That's pretty much it. If it's sounding a bit daft and rushed, considering how much you had to go through in the other games to get it. Oh, I've got to wait for this retard now, haven't I? Yeah, it does feel a bit rushed. And let's address some of the reasons why they seem a bit retarded. Or the fact that they're barely in the game. The main guy, the Grand Master, the Grand Mentor, whatever they're called, dies off screen. You don't even get the joy, the story integration of seeing him die. You don't even witness it. You just walk into a room and, oh shit, he's dead. Then you find out who did kill him, and it turns out to be your mentor, the guy who brought you in. And he gives a really, really shit reason for killing the dude. And then you kill him. So let's just count that. In the space of one sequence, the Grand Master dies, and then you kill another Master Templar. And then in the next sequence, the remaining three go, Templars died. Not Templars, sorry. 2 assassins died. 2 Master Assassins. It's a bit of a shame. You killed one of them. Here's another mission. It barely even gets mentioned. It might as well have not happened as far as the story's concerned, because all that happens later on is that you then almost kill the Grand Master of the Templars, who is also a sage. I like the sages, by the way. I like that introduction to the story. And then they go, you almost killed him. We don't like you anymore. Get out of the assassins. You're not an assassin anymore. You can't assassin people. And do you know what effect this has on the story? Absolutely none. You just go on doing the shit you were doing anyway, which is killing people, and you never hear from them again. They've been in the game for about 5 minutes overall, and then from that point, which is like sequence 10, to the end of the game, no, it might be later than that actually, you hear nothing from them ever again. So they are completely pointless in this game, essentially. And moving on to the final point, which is about what's-her-face, essentially, Elise. Like I said, I like Elise. The story is brutally and unnecessarily depressing. Essentially, you play this dude and he loses literally everything. He's not a bad guy. He did, like, maybe some chidable things in the past. And then you watch him lose everything he ever cared about, and there is no, like, a bonus. There's nothing good comes from it. The game just goes, spoiler alert, by the way. So you watched your dad die, you watched the guy who raised you die right at the start, then you play the game reuniting with your love interest, and then she dies in the final confrontation. So, fuck you, frankly. And there's nothing good comes from it. It was predictable as well. You know the second you walk into the final confrontation with your man that it's gonna happen. She's gonna die, and you're like, maybe they won't be that cliched, but no, they will. And she dies, and it makes the entire game feel empty and seem pointless because you don't actually gain anything from it. The bad guy dies, but you lose the one thing that you, because they don't get you interested in what the assassins are doing, because you don't fucking know what the assassins are doing, because they never fucking tell you. So the only thing you have left is, well, I suppose I better pursue this thing with the love interest, and then they reward you by then just shafting you up the ass with that. And the story, not the story, the message at the end is really weird as well, in that it just says, There is no divine being. There's no one watching over us. No one to reward us or punish us. Oh, bollocks. Brilliant, I've got to do that 4 times now. Everything that happens is our own fault. And that's it. It's like how theists think atheists must think. That almost made sense in English. But it's like they said, atheists don't believe in God. They don't think that there is anyone. You fucking idiot. What are you doing? They don't believe there is anyone to punish or reward us, so they must not have any point in being alive. Which isn't how atheists think. I don't know, it's just... I've got to fix this moron's mistake. Don't touch any of them. Don't do anything, just wait. What was the point I was getting at? Oh yeah, it's a fucking depressing story, and it just sort of ends. And then I actually hope they've set it up for a sequel, because now the only point in Arno's existence, because I pretty much completed everything before I did the final sequence, his only point in existing is to pick up collectibles and wait for DLC to come out, which is apparently free, because the game's still glitchy as fuck. As for whether or not the game is worth getting, it's a good game. It's nowhere near as bad as 3 or Revelations, but then again, it's nowhere near as good as, what the fuck happened there? 2, Brotherhood, or Black Flag. Fuck, I'm just gonna kill these guys. I don't care.
Looks like you're gonna have to sneak past the whole National Guard.
But considering now, if you get it on, if you get the digital one from Xbox Live, it's 55 quid, and for that price, I would say, good God, no, definitely don't. That would be crazy. I think the most I'd spend, I can't remember how much I've spent on this game because I actually bought it for my sister, but I can't imagine I'd spend more than 30 quid on this game. And considering how much you have to pay for it, because you can only buy it on Xbox One or PS4, I'm relatively disappointed with how the game worked. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Let's just, I don't know, play it for yourself. If you like it, then I can see why, but if you hate it, I can also see why. So, yeah.